Have you ever heard the saying, "Too much of a good thing can be bad for you"? Now imagine something as innocent, as praised, and as green as an avocado, turning into a silent saboteur of your well-being after 60. Yes, you heard right. We live in an age where superfoods dominate headlines, and the avocado is often crowned king. It's creamy rich, full of healthy fats, and seems almost too good to be true. But for seniors, navigating health after 60 requires deeper awareness. Because what your body embraced in your 40s, it may quietly resist in your 60s. Let me take you back to a village in Central America. There lived an elderly woman named Esperanza, 86 years young, who was famous for her strong legs and radiant skin. Every morning, she'd slice half an avocado into her fermented cornmeal. Not more, never less. She'd say, "The fruit must serve you, not burden you." Her wisdom came not from science, but from observation and tradition. Principles modern research like Dr. William Lees now confirms. In the quiet rhythm of life after 60, the body begins to whisper. It does not shout its needs as it once did. It speaks in softer tones. A slower gait, a tiredness after meals, a restless night. If one learns to listen, the language of the body becomes clear. But most people continue to eat, move, and think as they did decades ago, never realizing that what once served them may now weigh them down. And so begins our conversation, not about the avocado itself, but about the subtle relationship between age, nourishment, and awareness. There's a story of an old craftsman who carved temple bells from wood. At the age of 70, when asked about his secret, he said, "I only carve what is already there. My hand follows the shape the wood offers." This is how we must now treat the food we eat. Not forcing our will upon it, but learning to follow what the body already shows us. Avocado, praised in modern times as a miracle fruit, is one such food. Rich, smooth, comforting, yet also heavy, complex, and misunderstood. When one has passed the threshold of 60 years, the body does not digest and burn energy with the fire of youth. It asks for less, but better. Simpler, yet wiser. It asks not to be overloaded. One of the most common mistakes is rooted in good intention. People hear of avocados being heart, healthy, full of good fats, and a perfect replacement for less nutritious snacks. They begin eating one daily, sometimes even two. Spread on toast, blended in smoothies, added to salads. They think, "This is good. This will heal me." But goodness is not in the thing itself. It is in how it is used. A full avocado can contain 250 to 300 calories. For a senior whose daily movement may have slowed, whose metabolism burns gently rather than vigorously, this becomes significant. These are not bad calories, but they are dense. They carry weight, not just physical weight, but digestive burden. After 60, your metabolism becomes like a small lamp. In youth, you could throw logs onto the fire and it would consume them eagerly. Now, each log must be chosen with care. Too large, and the flame flickers under its own fuel. There was once a student who asked a monk why his energy dropped after eating what was supposed to be healthy food. The monk replied, "Because you do not eat for the body you have. You eat for the body you remember." Many people are feeding their past selves, not the present. They eat to satisfy memories of what they once could digest, not what they need today. The avocado may be nutritious, but if consumed in excess, it becomes a silent weight. It can slow digestion, leave one feeling full but sluggish, and interfere with the lightness the body seeks during elder years. When weight begins to accumulate subtly, especially around the midsection, it does more than change appearance. It changes balance. It strains the knees, the hips, the back. It affects sleep, breathing, and blood sugar. A single avocado may not seem the cause. But habits are not judged by individual moments. They are measured by repetition. The body, too, keeps a record, not with ink, but in tension, in fatigue, in the way your legs feel when you rise from a chair. Many seniors fall into the trap of healthy indulgence. They shift away from processed snacks, yes, but replace them with overuse of nutrient-dense foods like nuts, seeds, and avocados. The intention is right, but the scale of balance has shifted. The truth is simple, but overlooked. Even healthy food can become unhealthy when consumed without awareness. A knife is neither good nor bad. In the hands of a chef, it nourishes. In the hands of a child, it wounds. So too with the avocado. It must be handled with understanding. Now, let us turn our attention to another quiet truth: the role of potassium. Avocados are rich in this mineral, even more than bananas. Potassium is essential to the function of our nerves, muscles, and especially the heart. But the balance of potassium is delicate, and age alters the body's ability to manage it. The kidneys, which filter out excess potassium, are no longer at their peak. Their efficiency diminishes silently. You may not notice until it becomes a problem, until fatigue creeps in, or the heart beats irregularly, or test results raise concern. Many seniors take medications, ACE inhibitors for blood pressure, or diuretics for swelling or heart issues. These medications interact with potassium levels. When you add a potassium-rich fruit like avocado, without knowing how it interacts with your condition, the body is forced to carry a burden it cannot release. What begins as a small excess becomes a systemic imbalance. The body does not complain loudly. It simply slows, adjusts, strains. And then one day something gives. The body is like a garden. You do not simply pour water and expect growth. You check the soil, the sun, the seasons. You observe. You measure. In some gardens, too much water is more dangerous than too little. For a senior body, avocados are that water. Useful, but only in the right amount. At the right time, for the right condition. I once met a man in his late 60s who had developed sudden fatigue and muscle cramps. He had read about avocados and begun eating one every morning, proud of his commitment to health. When his doctor checked his blood work, his potassium was dangerously high. The very fruit he believed was healing him was quietly unbalancing him. It wasn't the avocado's fault. It was the lack of alignment between knowledge and awareness. The man later said, "I was following health advice, not my own health." This is the lesson many forget. Health is not one size fits all. What serves one person can harm another. What benefits a 30-year-old athlete may burden a 65-year-old with kidney sensitivity. Wisdom is not about memorizing lists of good or bad foods. It is about listening to the body you have today, not the one you remember from yesterday. Moderation is the true path. Not restriction, not indulgence. A few slices of avocado, paired with fiber, rich vegetables or whole grains, may offer beauty and strength. But an entire fruit, consumed daily without reflection, may introduce a strain you don't feel, until you do. The best medicine is not in what you eat. It is in how deeply you understand why you eat it, and how it responds within you. This understanding is what allows you to move from unconscious habits to conscious care. It allows you to let go of trends and instead hold on to timeless principles: simplicity, balance, observation, and respect for the body's changing needs. A young body seeks stimulation. An aging body seeks harmony. And food must serve both, not equally, but accordingly. When you eat, pause. Ask not just, "Is this healthy?" but "Is this right for me now?" Then, like the old wood carver, you will begin to see what is already present, and choose only what fits the shape of your life today. When two rivers meet, if their currents are not aligned, they clash and churn the water into chaos. But if they flow in harmony, they create a stream that moves with strength and clarity. Food, too, is a current, and how it flows through your body, alone or in combination with other foods, determines whether it nourishes or disturbs. After 60, the body's digestive stream slows. It becomes more sensitive to conflict, more reactive to imbalance. And so the way you combine food matters more than ever. Avocados are often praised for their ability to balance blood sugar, improve heart health, and deliver sustained energy. But that benefit depends on what walks alongside them on your plate. Many seniors, in their desire to eat well, unintentionally trap the avocado in a poor partnership. They blend it with sweet fruits, add honey to smoothies, pile it on sugary bread, or consume it after dessert. It becomes part of a celebration, not a nourishment. And in that celebration, its purpose is lost. There is a story of a farmer who used to plant corn and melons side by side. The corn drank too much water, and the melons were starved. In the end, neither grew well. A monk passing through told him, "Even the best seeds will fail if they fight for the same space." In the same way, the nutrients in your food can clash, cancel, or confuse the body. Avocados slow digestion slightly. This is a benefit when paired with fiber or protein, as it controls the release of energy. But when paired with fast, digesting sugars, the body is pulled in two directions. One path speeds up, the other slows down. The result is neither calm nor energized, but bloated, tired, and irritable. The mistake is not in eating avocado. It is in misunderstanding its nature. It is not a dessert. It is not a garnish. It is a foundation, solid, stable, grounding. Just as you would not build a temple roof before placing the pillars, you must not eat sugar and then add avocado. Timing, too, matters. Eating avocado after a sugary meal is like pouring cool water over a hot flame. It creates steam, discomfort, and imbalance. Your body does not want to be soothed and stimulated at once. It wants rhythm, not confusion. When you pair avocado with complex carbohydrates, like brown rice, lentils, or leafy vegetables, you allow it to work in harmony. The fiber slows absorption. The fats act as carriers for fat-soluble vitamins. Your body responds with ease, with clarity. There is no inner battle, only a gentle movement of energy. But when you blend avocado with bananas, honey, or dates in a smoothie, the sugar spikes before the fat can stabilize it. The result: an energy crash, inflammation, and over time, rising blood glucose levels that you don't notice until your doctor mentions it. A senior woman once shared that she began eating avocado every morning with mango and yogurt, thinking it was the healthiest breakfast. But soon, her joints felt stiff, and her energy waned. It wasn't the avocado. It was the sweet overload in a body that no longer processed sugar efficiently. She changed her habit: half an avocado with spinach, pumpkin seeds, and a boiled egg. The stiffness eased, she said. It was like waking up without pain for the first time in months. The change was not dramatic. It was mindful. Food is not just about content. It is about context. A peaceful song played during a storm cannot calm the wind. A healing fruit consumed in the wrong environment cannot heal. After 60, this becomes more obvious. The body begins to reveal the consequences of subtle misalignments. Combinations that once passed unnoticed now send signals: fatigue, bloating, skin irritation, foggy mind. These are not signs of aging. They are signs of dissonance between food and timing, between nutrients and needs. And so, if the lesson of poor food pairing is to understand with what we eat, the next is to understand why we eat what we eat. There is a quiet illusion that often creeps into the lives of those growing older: the belief that one food can undo years of neglect. Avocados, because of their fame, often become that food. People imagine that adding them to their daily meals will lower their cholesterol, cleanse their arteries, and reverse decades of habits. It is a hopeful belief, but not a wise one. There is a tale of a man who planted a single olive tree and expected it to fill his cellar with oil. He watered it daily, sang to it, spoke of it with pride. But he ignored the dry soil, the lack of sunlight, the weeds that choked its roots. The tree did not thrive. One day a traveler told him, "A single tree cannot nourish a starving land." The man understood. He cleared the weeds, opened the earth, and planted more. With time, the grove began to flourish. Avocado is one tree. It is a support, not a solution. Its fats can support heart health. Yes. Its nutrients can reduce inflammation, yes. But if the rest of your life moves in the opposite direction, if your body is starved of movement, if stress rises like a quiet tide, if processed foods and late night meals fill your plate, then the avocado's strength is wasted. Healing does not come from one fruit. It comes from alignment. from effort in many directions. Seniors often substitute butter with avocado and feel proud. It is a good step. But cholesterol is not reduced by swaps alone. It is reduced by consistency, by walking daily, by sitting in silence to slow the heart, by choosing foods that do not inflame, and reducing those that do. Believing that avocado alone will solve the problem is like putting a feather on one side of the scale and expecting the balance to shift. It may help, but it will not transform. One elderly gentleman once came to a retreat, struggling with high cholesterol and fatigue. He proudly shared that he was eating an avocado every day instead of his old fried breakfast. But he still sat all day, drank sugary tea with every meal, and slept late. We spoke not of food first but of breath, of walking, of silence. Over time he ate less avocado, not more. But his heart improved, his energy returned. He smiled more. He said, "I learned that health is not about one good choice. It is about many small ones that walk in the same direction." In this stage of life, each choice echoes more deeply. The body does not forget easily. It remembers what you give it, and what you withhold. There is no miracle fruit that can cleanse an unbalanced life. But there are humble, consistent actions that lead to change. When you use avocado wisely, paired correctly, eaten in balance, grounded in a lifestyle that supports it, it becomes powerful. Not because it is magical, but because it is respected. A river does not rush to reach the sea. It flows guided by terrain and season. Your health, too, is a flow, not a fight. The food you eat should move with your needs, not against them. When you eat with awareness, when you pair with purpose, when you act with patience, the benefits reveal themselves, not suddenly, but surely. Like the olive tree, like the flowing river, like the quiet strength that lives within you, waiting to be aligned. So what can we learn from all this? The avocado is not your enemy, but it is a teacher. It teaches us to be precise, mindful, and respectful of the changes in our aging bodies. It reminds us that nature's gifts, when misunderstood, can turn into burdens. And above all, it urges us to return to balance, not extremes. Like Esperanza, the wise old woman in the village, perhaps we too should treat food not as a trend, but as a ritual. Just half an avocado, just enough, at the right time, in the right way. The fruit must serve you, not burden you. And that, my friends, is the real wisdom after 60.